So my name's Justin Butler. I'm CEO and founder of Ambiental, the flood and environmental risk modelling company, recently acquired by Royal HaskoningDHV to improve the way that insurers, reinsurers and the finance community assess and communicate risk from flood and other natural hazards. Well, the insurance industry has a very important role to play when it comes to enhancing resilience in cities and elsewhere around the world, because obviously their role is to enable the transfer of risk from individuals, companies and governments to the insurance industry via the payment of premiums. And then they, when an event strikes, pay out the insurance premiums to help those companies or organisations bounce back. But there's still a significant insurance protection gap between, especially in developing countries which might be underinsured. So I think looking at novel types of insurance transfer mechanisms, such as index-based insurance, whereby parametric triggers are used to trigger payouts without requirements for loss assessment. So say if a river level exceeds a specific threshold, then the payout automatically happens. I think structuring new types of catastrophe bonds or parametric insurance products really hold great potential for improving resilience. Also as well, insurers and their service providers and data suppliers have a greater responsibility to improve risk literacy. So the communication of risk to people and businesses is often lacking. So coming up with new ways of mapping, modelling, visualising and communicating risk is fundamental for insurance companies and modelling companies such as Ambiental to contribute to that debate, so that individuals and businesses and governments know more about the risk they're facing so they can take appropriate action. I also think in terms of risk pooling, the insurance industry there has a mechanism of enabling cross-subsidisation of insurance. So Flood Re, for example, in the UK, enables people at a very high risk of flooding to still obtain affordable insurance, as the individuals in lower risk areas effectively cross-subsidise those at higher risk. So risk pooling in combination with new forms of climate-driven catastrophe models provide an excellent way of quantifying and mitigating the effects of climate change. I think in terms of opportunities for data and new types of modelling, insurance needs to play a wider role as part of our general climate change adaptation strategy. And data and modelling plays a fundamental role when it comes to analysing the risk and also communicating that risk. So if you think of the risk equation, risk equals probability times impact. The models can be used to estimate the probability or the frequency of an event happening, as well as the impact. And if we are able to supply better data and information on the exposure, so what it is on the ground, when it was built, its vulnerability to different assets, then that data feed can be used to better structure the models which underpin the insurance and reinsurance industry. In terms of innovative partnerships between insurance companies, modelers and service providers such as Ambiental, governments, the World Bank, information sharing and the supply and sharing of data between stakeholders is key. So up till now, for example, the sharing of insurance claims data from the insurers to third parties has been lacking. So if going forward that data can be shared more widely, end users will be able to have a better idea of what's happened in the past. We can also, through early warning and monitoring, understand what's happening currently and in the near future, and our climate and futures and flood future prediction type models can also be used for scenarios and strategic planning in the future. So information sharing between these entities and innovative ways of partnering between them to share that data is going to be critical going forward. The move towards open source modelling and the proliferation of new types of catastrophe model are really providing benefit to the insurance industry and their clients. Initiatives such as the OASIS loss modelling framework, for example, is enabling specialist organisations such as Ambiental to develop and distribute models which can be used to estimate the losses and different scenarios for certain types of impact. Because once you know how much it's going to cost, then governments and businesses can work out how much needs to be invested to mitigate those risks.